Hello and welcome to session 3 of Karanduun, Make God Bleed. This is a game that's available on itch.io, and it's exalted by way of Filipino mythology, and it's even better than exalted, quite honestly, by my reckoning. But it's wild. We did 2 sessions with the starter scenario that comes from the book, and now we're kind of expanding out to see what our characters' lives are like right now, following that and in the city that they are in. Before I get too much further, because I want to talk a little bit more about the mechanical bits of this, my name is Lowell, pronouns he, him, and this is part of the Gauntlet Hangouts, which is an online gaming club / community, and we have a Gauntlet Community Open Gaming event coming up in mid-October where we've got, I think, 2 or 3 dozen sessions for free that are up there. Registration for that's going to open on October 1st. There's lots of great stuff there. So if you're interested in trying out online games, want to check that out, go there. You can find out more about that at gauntlet-rpg.com. So this week, the designer dropped the new version of Karanduun. And at first I was like, oh, well, I'll just make some of the changes to our rules thing. Those changes are big. Tons of cleanup, tons of fixes, tons of clarifications. It's not a little step. It's a big, great step forward. So we're going to stick with the rules as they are, because it would take me too long to redo the keeper as it is. But when we're done with this, I'm going to update that keeper to the next version. It's really good. The layout's been tightened. The lot more illustrations. It's really, really good. If you already have bought Karanduun but haven't really looked at it, download the new version. If you haven't bought it, you should buy it. It's if you like these games at all, I highly recommend purchasing it. So this is a great time to do that. We're going to start out with our characters getting a chance to do some advancement, to do some growth. We're going to start with that, and then we're going to figure out, what's the fallout from last time and where things stand and where the characters are. So the first thing is you can reset your gathered gahum to 0. And I know most people have, I'm just kind of round this off. You're going to get 2 attainments. And an attainment at this point for you can be another move from your playbook or your character role, a move from another role if you want. I prefer that you only take it from roles that other people don't have, or advancing one of your attributes by 1, and you get 2 of those. So let me give you a little bit of time to take a look at that. Basically, the way the system works is every 5 attainments that you get, that's when you go up a tier. You'll go up to tier 2 or 3 or whatever. So there is a lot that you can gain, and the stats will get bigger and bigger, obviously, as the game rolls along. The actual process of the move is that we would see your characters involved in prayer and concentration and offering up this gathered spiritual energy to gain these attainments. Puckett, do you have any sense of what you might want to do with those two picks?
I have a sense that I'm probably going to want to improve a stat and probably take another move, but I need to get a look at them.
Absolutely, absolutely. Let me give you a couple of minutes, and then I'm going to come back and ask everyone about that. I'll give you like 2 or 3 minutes, and then I'll ask you about the item. That'll be the second thing I'll do. And of course, for you at home, if you're hearing me say moves, it's actually verses. I'm using PBTA terminology. I'm not using the exact terminology from the book, but it's in the same way that when anything has stats, I just call them stats, or skills, I just call them skills regardless of what the game calls them. So that's on me. For those of you at home, we are using the X card as our reactive safety tool, and our base safety tool is lines and veils. We have lines on sexual assault, torture, incest, and statements about people playing this game badly. And then our veil is on sexual content.
So I know last session I had a difficult time using Soul Mind Dewa because I was trying to use it for something that was more like Steal the Secrets of God than Shape the Lie.
Uh-huh.
Like I was fictionally positioned differently than I expected.
Yeah.
I'm very tempted to take the other Oto skill that is basically the exact same thing, but with Steal the Secrets of God.
Did you want to? If you feel that the Soul Mind deal wasn't quite what you expected, do you want to just swap in that other verse for that one and take something in addition that's new?
I'm actually tempted about that. Because if Shape the Lie is focused on things you already know, and Steal the Secrets of God is more focused on things you're learning about the space.
Yes.
So I think that's more in line with where I was expecting.
Absolutely. Yeah. Feel free to do that.
Okay. So yeah, I'm going to swap out Soul Mind Dewa for Attune with Hayang, which gives me an extra die when stealing the Secrets of God and gives me a couple of extra questions I can ask. I'm going to take Heat Not the Voice of the Paro Paro, which gives me lets me spend Gahum to get a massive boost to Struggle Unafraid Against God for social or mental contests.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm going to raise my word, since that ties into a lot of my rolls. So I'll bring my word up to 3.
Smart. Have you thought about what you might want to take as your item?
Yeah, I think that what Ermine finds in the chest is a pair of elaborate hair combs that are inlaid with some kind of horn and brass. So they will enable him to sort of tie up his long hair into a bun and sort of enhance his presentation. He's going to use them as sort of a focus to become even more immaculate.
Okay.
In his rituals.
So let's say then for that item that it constantly gives you a +1 die bonus to anything that involves essentially appearance and personal presence as the focus. And it doesn't have uses. It can be used every time.
Okay.
Hudis, who got the most fan mail on the YouTube comments, by the way.
Oh, really?
Oh,
awesome.
yes.
I haven't checked. Okay, awesome. Cutie.
So what are you thinking about taking?
I think I want to up my spirit by 1. And I think I want to do like 2 stat ups.
Oh, okay.
But
figuring out what the other one's going to be.
Yeah, I don't know if it should be like, if I'm going to be strategic, it's going to be wisdom. But if I'm going to be fictional, it's going to be word.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, word. Oh my God, Kitty, hi. I just want to.
So big.
Because we're gonna explain how, right? Like, how did he up his word or his?
Yeah, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about what you've been doing in the last few days following the operation.
Yeah.
Do you know what item you'd like to have?
Wait, I was gonna draw a card for that. Ooh.
Ooh.
Ooh. it's a chalice that is always full.
Okay.
And it
What is
has
it
like
always full of? Is it your choice, or is it something specific?
it's like some liquid that glows a lot and seems to have some potent abilities that I could feel, but my wisdom isn't that high and I'm too prideful to ask Ermin, so I meditate with it and that's why my spirit goes up.
Okay, I
and
like
and
that.
and then since I got so gutsy channeling with this liquid, it told me to drink it so that I could speak more with the words of God with the perfect form and timing, and that's why my word went up one.
That seems fair. And then you have this chalice as an object. If you can justify its use during play, we can give you a die bonus for that.
Yeah, so it's like the chalice of the tongues of God or something.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Basanta, come back to you. Do you know what you want?
Indeed, I do.
Okay.
I have taken one wisdom.
Okay.
Because I figured this has to have made me smarter somehow. I mean, I turned a demon loose. Surely I learned something from this.
Surely.
And I also took the, what is it called? An act called silver-tongued trickery. Your
Okay.
lies are more truthful. Wow, this keeps scrolling. I don't intend for it to. Your lies are more truthful than your truths, blessed by moon spirits. Why does this keep scrolling? And wedded by devil tongues. When you sway the flock or pierce the veil, but lie about yourself, your leverage or your promises, gain plus 1d. You can spend 1 gaham to gain plus 3d instead.
That's very nice. And what item do you think you've picked up from this case?
A pair of ridiculously shiny and ornately jeweled shoes that are wildly impractical. I have absolutely no idea what they do.
Okay. So put undetermined jeweled shoes down as an item. We'll figure out what they do in practice.
Sure thing.
All right. Lilia, do you know what you
All
want?
right. I have some questions.
And I have answers.
I'm kind of looking at this Healy thing under the Apuna, the Tambal, the White Secret. But it's what exactly does this do?
Let me take a look at that.
Because I felt like after seeing Ermin hurt, I would really be like interested in having something that I could offer to the group to help heal people. Like that's I think important to her at this point.
That gives you access to the herbalisms, which are actually on another tab.
Ooh.
Here is the witcheries and herbalisms tab.
Oh, look at all. Oh boy, there's a lot of that. Okay, this looks fun. Like I have lots of options, so let's do that.
Okay.
For my act that I'm taking, and I think and I'd like to do a stat bump on spirit. I think.
Okay.
Again, kind of coming from that like real heartfelt interaction that Ermin and Lilia had. And I think I took the least ostentatious thing in that chest, which I think was also a cup.
Okay.
I want it to be like a silver mug. And it's got just a little bit of like geometric pattern work on the outside, but it's been worn down by hand. So it's like almost flat and it's badly tarnished. But I like it because I can see all the hands that have been on it when I look at it.
What do you think? What do you imagine it does, or do you just not know yet? Do you want to determine it as we go through?
I have a couple ideas.
I'll let you think on it.
Yeah.
Okay,
Thanks.
that seems fair. Absolutely. So last time you charged through the statue body of a dead god and made your way up through the levels with lawgivers coming up behind you. You had an incident. You may have released a Satan of Wrath. and you had a fight with some Manananggal that you defeated but didn't kill. And then you were able to take out a horrible drug dealing underboss, a Karanduun gang leader, and his associate, and make it look like they had a fight with one another. And then you escaped with the items that they had taken. So we're going to take up a few days later after this, kind of check in what you've been doing, what is going on, so we can kind of get a scene of the daily life of you after this. I will say, since you did this, word has kind of leaked out onto the street, around the neighborhoods. Certainly the people who you helped move out, to the civilians that you got out to safety, are speaking your name, speaking words on that. And you know that you've definitely upset other of these gang leaders. They're always nervous when heroes pop up, when they start putting in pressure. And once word gets out about heroes with a capital H, certainly you know that the forces above, the instrumentalist leaders of this city, and those tools that they have down here in the neighborhoods, are now keeping their eyes out, are looking for them, because heroes need to be put under a boot heel when they pop up.
When the lawgivers swept through the body of Sinuquan, what happened to the homes on the lower levels, or the squatting places on the lower levels? Were people able to return there afterwards, or what did the lawgivers leave behind when they went through?
The lawgivers seem to be like not caring about those people at all. They were there to take down this dealer or muscle in on this dealer's territory or whatnot, but everything was kind of blown up at the top. So essentially, they put it down as them having dealt with someone who was dealing trash on the street, even though in fact they were probably tightly involved with his operations. But the other people are able to move into the building, move back in. It's probably eventually someone will claim to be the strong man or strong person, strong woman, who will try to take over and run this place. But it's a set of apartments, and people are able to return to their lives there. Does that seem fair, Ermin?
I still feel good about evacuating everybody, because that Satan was going to go through there on his way out.
Yes. None of them were injured. They came back probably the next day and were able to go back to their lives. The person who would normally come around to collect the rent didn't. And that's what's going on there.
I think Ermin is thinking ahead to the fact that if we just disrupted a distributor of Angel Blossom, there are probably going to be a lot of people who are either searching for another source or going through sudden withdrawal. So they're going to go talk to some of the other prominent members of the local community, those who are charity inclined, and try to encourage some sort of withdrawal program, amnesty, extra care, looking out for people who might be cast suddenly adrift by this.
Let's have you do Sway the Flock. Let's say this is kind of represent you talking to several of these figures.
Okay. Sway the Flock is word plus spirit, I think?
Word plus wisdom.
Word plus wisdom. Okay. All right. I would say that this is probably appearance presence, because I'm trading on my reputation.
Definitely.
I wouldn't call this supernatural exactly. I would say that in this particular case, Ermin is trying to keep a low profile because he doesn't want the lawgivers jumping on them for what they did in the last session.
Absolutely.
Okay, so word plus wisdom is 4 plus an extra die, 5d6. That is 3 hits.
So you'll talk to probably the most important in the area community leader, a person named Dyson Not Now, and they'll say, we've already started to see some panic on the streets. We've already seen some people. We were trying to make us. He says, we'll do that. We'll see who we can bring in. Coming down off of this is cold baths and salts and holding their hands. Some will be able to maybe pull out of this spiral, but they know that the boss is gone. It won't be very long before other dealers start moving down into this area. But yes, we'll do that. You're a good man, Ermin, to have stepped up like this. And, some of these people might need a small job, something like that. Maybe we could send 1 or 2 your way.
I have no problem. I have no problems with this. We have an opportunity here to carve out some peace for ourselves. I'm happy to roll up my sleeves to take part.
You are. Don't set your goals too high. Don't set your expectations too high. I've seen this cycle of fighting and violence, clearing. Some people come out of it, but more get sucked down into it. We do what we can.
Ermin nods solemnly. They've been on these streets for a couple. They've been on these streets for a couple of decades now. They know the score.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Let's come to Hudis. So, what did this liquid taste like?
Oh, I feel like it tasted like honey, but better. Like the texture is just more. It was more of a feeling rather than a. Like it's as if like a waterfall emerges from your throat down into your body, rather than a taste. It's like a sensation.
And I imagine that's an elevated feeling, and then when that kind of passes, you're still on the streets. And it's still,
yeah.
So what have you been up to in the days following what went down?
I have a feeling that I have a feeling that in a sense of investigating the cup, I let a lot of my friends like try it, and it's like a rave party I don't know if it's an addiction. It's more of like, oh, let's find out about and then they just get too much. I feel like I don't know if
they're not quite your tier. They're not quite your strength. There is that thing. Probably the first couple of people that you give this to, they're they blaze out and then they're unconscious. It's just so overwhelming for them.
Yeah. I feel like I want to find out who enchanted this or how. Maybe I ask. A part of me is like, I want to go to like a club and I want to meet a bartender who specializes on special tonics,
Sure.
and be like, and I want to like, offer some to them. Like I will oversell this thing. I'm like, yeah, this is gonna beat your best wine flight. We did some epic shit. Don't ask me about it.
So what is the name of this bar that you go to that the bartender? There maybe know a little bit of the witcheries. They know a little bit of the alchemy. They play around with the edges of these things.
I wanted to. Let's not call it alchemy, Maria. Think of something else. Oh, It's called Sinta, my love.
Cinta, my love.
Yeah. I mean, my love is just translated.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the bartender's name is Rad Malari, and
Oh, okay.
he kind of looks over this. You know, he's got, you know how behind a usual bar you've got all of the beautiful labels and you've got them all facing out, so you see the Johnny Walker and all of that there. No, none of these bottles are labeled. They're all mismatched and glued back together and filled with all kinds of colored unguents and liquids and things like that. And he's like, so what is it you want to know?
I want to know if you have any idea who made this, who created this. Also, I feel like there's a part of who does this, like, do you want to buy some of it? Can I make money off of this? You want to try this, right?
That's dead God stuff. I'd love a sip, maybe in a little shot glass, but I don't want to sell. You don't want to have other people sell. You don't want to have people deal with that. That's how you corrupt a sacred thing.
And I like tap the menu and I'm like, all of your stuff is pretending to be a dead sacred thing. We're in a dead universe. You chant with fire when you serve your alcohol. This is just like, this could be your best thing.
He takes the menu from you and he points to the bottom, the text, and it says for entertainment purposes only.
And I go like,
But if you want to know who made this, and it does feel new, there is a guy named Beninovo.
oh.
Beninovo used to be up in the heights, used to be a cup bearer for the emperor, and had a falling out and dropped down here. And since then, I know that he's been making things to make the officialdom's life unpleasant. That's the kind of thing that he would make and toss out into the world for it to cause problems.
And then I'm like grappling my bag. I'm like, it's a problem?
Well, it's empowering. I don't want to say you're a hero, but you know. And you're walking around with it, you're giving people hope, and that's not what they want.
Yeah. People want solutions or something. I feel like I reach over and grab a glass, like in the counter, and like pull up the water, and I'm like, it's just water. It's just water. Let's have like a toast. Like,
All
thank
right.
you. Yeah. We clink glasses.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And then there's like a fake ritual thingy from one of the orders of some other people for entertainment purposes.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Goes and gets little flames and lighters and things like that to carry it over.
Yeah, they have masks. Yeah.
Awesome. Let's come to our street urchin. What have you been up to, Basanta?
I have been skipping through the streets, wearing those god-awfully gaudy shoes, just checking in on my uncles and aunties.
They never get dirty. They never get scuffed.
It's amazing.
What do they look like? You've described them as, I mean, what color are they? What kind of jewels do you imagine are on them?
They're gold, with rubies and emeralds and diamonds and sapphires inlaid. The gems are so cartoonishly large that they have to be fakes.
Absolutely.
Right? They have to be. They can't be real.
Yeah.
and they're so precisely cut that these obviously were made in a lab somewhere, or somebody just made these.
Colored glass, well put together.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It can't be real.
Right.
And it's probably just like, paint that makes it look gold.
What? Anything you want to find out from your uncles? Anything you want to tell your uncles? What kind of rounds are you doing now?
Well, I'd kind of like to find out on an uncle that we set loose.
Fair enough. I think that will be Shape the Lie.
Okay. Let me get the dice roller up.
Difficulty 3.
Shape the Lie. So,
Curiosity, would it make more sense as walk with sheep?
Ooh, let me look. Me with a group. Oh, you're absolutely right. I'd forgotten that we had a sort of streetwise move there. Thank you.
I was looking at that one because that's kind of what I wanted to do, and I was like, I have no word at all.
Absolutely. So that's word plus word is what that is.
okay. So that gives me 2.
Sorry.
Yeah, I would have had 3 the other way. All right, so it's
Can I
difficult.
help?
I don't see why not. Maybe we're out like looking around.
I mean, I'm also probably fumbling. My plan, what I wanted to do was go back to the tenement housing that was in the old God, and I'm going to go around asking for like medicinal remedies from everyone there because my friend got hurt. But I also want to know if, they've heard anything. So maybe just we're both out there talking. Is that enough of a help? Or
Let's say that why don't we have one of you roll with a 2 die bonus? Let's do it that way. Does that seem fair?
Okay.
Or conversely, I could shape the lie and possibly give you the 2 die bonus, because I'm sure Satan leaves a particular stench behind. Like that cigar he smoked was real characteristic.
Oh yeah.
How many dice are you rolling with? Would you be rolling with?
To
Shape the lie.
Quite a few. I have to go look. It's been a couple. Oh my god. Other acts. Shape the lie is wisdom plus spirit. So that's 6 dice.
Yeah.
Okay,
great.
let's
This
have
would be
you
a
do
nice
that
setup
roll.
action, yeah, to then complement.
Yeah. And
then of course I left my dice upstairs. Oh no, they're here.
Now the cat's in charge.
There we go.
so, maybe you're like wandering around checking on people, making sure everybody's okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think maybe I think it makes more sense for you to be going around talking to people. That's like more a thing your character would do. And so I think I'm trying to just shape the lie enough to give you a reasonable chance with your word.
Okay. So you're rolling with 6 dice plus the 2 bonus.
No,
I'm rolling 6 dice to give you 2 bonus.
Okay,
And
I thought you were.
essentially it will give you both more. It actually will get you more information total. You'll
Okay.
get the bonus on your roll. It'll work
Okay.
as kind of a research and then followed by a hit the streets.
I only got a 2 success though.
2 successes. So you will definitely have the sense that this Wrath Satan has gone out quickly and vanished into the crowd. And you know that in part he's doing that because he has a good, essentially 14-day window now that his summoner is dead to really entrench himself and get himself set here. It doesn't give you any information on where he's at, but you know that he's kind of got a time limit in which to do some rituals to bind himself a little more smartly here to the world.
Okay.
And
So how many dice am I rolling with now?
you will get 2 dice bonus.
Okay, so that's 4. That's 2 successes,
2 successes. So
and a 6 is one of them.
pick one from Walk with Sheep.
I mean, avoiding unwanted attention would be the smart choice.
Mm-hmm.
So, and gaining info would also be a smart choice. So I think I want to befriend an NPC here.
Fair enough. What kind of NPC?
I think I have met a new little god that admires my pluck.
What is this a little god of?
Vice.
Okay. Just vice in general or a particular vice? These are little gods. They probably have pretty narrow portfolios.
Ooh. Just to have it be able to pay off later. The little god of tobacco.
Oh yeah. And in this case, probably the little god of tobacco butts. He is essentially a little god who kind of sticks along the sides and corridors and ruffles through ashtrays and picks up cigarette ends and so on, and is able to get just every last little bit of smoke out of them there till the filter is dark brown if there's a filter on it, and picks up little pieces of tobacco and manages to roll them together into some sort of Frankenstein cigarette there, and always smells like a variety of tobacco, and is very, very pleased to make your acquaintance. I have heard. And imagine he has to do that between every sentence. That you're good friends with many of my good friends. So we should be good friends then, shouldn't we?
Absolutely, honored uncle. Tell me, do you like beer?
And no, not so much. Not so much. I like tobacco.
Well, if I come across any tobacco, I shall be sure to save it for you.
Absolutely. Even the littlest, scrawny little bit, you keep your eyes out. It's good. It's good. And you want to pick those up because, if birds eat it, it's not good for the birds. So you want to give it to people. Or
So
a person
really,
or a thing.
By helping you, I'm protecting birds?
Absolutely. That is, in fact, exactly what is happening. His name is Labudosan. And he, when you actually get to see him in the light, he looks like a little old man. Like he's, like a 2.5, 3 foot little old man. And his fingers are that kind of brown going into yellow on all of those, even the nails. But he's very pleasant.
He has those horrible smoker's wrinkles.
Oh, yeah.
Like go run like this instead of like that, or like.
Oh yeah. The whole face.
But what does he smell like? Like, does he smell like the grotty tobacco or like the really sweet tobacco?
It varies. It depends on
like
what he's
an
been
ashtray.
smoking.
It
Yeah.
smells like an ashtray.
But sometimes, like if he's been in a good neighborhood, it might smell a little less pungent, a little less like sawdust mixed with tobacco.
I need to find him some good tobacco, like some cherry tobacco or some vanilla flavored tobacco.
Absolutely. And to go to tobaccery and get that, and he will feel honored. It's like giving him a beer at that point. But he doesn't know anything about your Citan of Wrath, but Labudosan promises that he will keep his ears open
Well, Honored Uncle, you might keep your nose open because the tobacco had a very particular scent, and it seems like the sort of thing that you might appreciate and enjoy.
I will keep an eye out. I will keep an ear out. I will keep a nose out. All of these senses, all of my orifices will be at your disposal.
Thank you, Honored Uncle. And I skip off.
So what are you up to, Lilia?
Well, so I have this new toy of like being able to brew herbs, and I think kind of how I'm getting there is that I'm very concerned for my friend Ermin, who was quite injured when we left off, and though he appears to have recovered miraculously, I'm still feeling like I need to go around and get like every home remedy I can get my hands on. So I'm like going and checking on all the community members in the bottom of that tenement, and then and also being like, so do you have anything you like put on cuts? Like, what would you recommend? And so I keep bringing Ermin really stinky things to rub on himself.
Every one of them has a different remedy. Every one of them has a different unguent or preparation that they've figured out to go, and they tell you the places around the neighborhoods to go and gather things, which rooftop gets the most sunlight and water, and where things have overgrown, where there's some graves and some things that have grown on those, they're particularly potent. What is the most effective thing that you think you make that you're able to bring to Ermin?
I mean, I'm tempted to go with something that actually does sort of work, which is just honey. Would be pretty effective. Depending on what, like, you're giving me a weird look. Honey is actually effective on cuts.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but I want to mix like some more interesting herbs in there. Like whatever it is mostly honey, so it's mostly a sticky mess.
And it's not from a normal kind of bee.
Right.
What's the deal with this bee that you have to get the right honey from?
Well, it's huge. It's
Okay.
like a bee. It's about like yay big. It's like a terrifyingly large bee. But they are docile. It's not like a carpenter bee. It's like a
Right.
honey bee that's huge and like super furry and kind of like leopardy in its coloration. Like it's black is more blue, and and the yellow is shaded to white, so it's like kind of a giant blue and white leopard bee.
These bees, because they're that big, probably they find old ruined buildings and make those entire buildings into nests, into hives.
Yeah, that sounds great.
So you have to kind of go there and
It's not even the honey that I'm using. Like this particular building, there's like it's leaky inside, and there's a place outside that the water pools, and like you still have to like hide from the bees, but it's like the drain water that has run through this building. So it's like kind of mucky and kind of rust colored and like also sticky and also just like unctuous, but it's amazing.
So you mix your street honey with some herbs and get that, and it actually works. Ermin, how do you feel? Lily is clearly coming and trying these preparations out, and what's your reaction when this goes on?
Oh, Ermin accepts it very graciously. They're grateful for the attention and the care, and they make sure to express that. Although the wound does seem to be healing rather well, Ermin does specifically ask if you have anything that might soothe tired joints or relieve muscle ache, because, well, I'm not as young as I used to be, and it's always a challenge to keep myself limber enough to work through the proper forms.
I think Lily is just ecstatic to kind of have another avenue to pursue it and a reason to go back to all of her friends around the community and ask for additional ridiculous remedies.
Then let me swing back to Ermin. Ermin, you've certainly gotten word on the street that things are going on. You've heard about this power vacuum. There are a couple of other things that you will hear about that kind of relate in. You can decide what you want to grab onto, whether you want to continue with the following up. One of the things you'll hear is that there's been a lot of people with eye patches around. Like people that didn't have eye patches before had eye patches for a while, and then they weren't wearing eye patches anymore. Like it's a thing that people are commenting on, that they had friends that apparently had an eye injury, wouldn't talk about it, and then got better. But enough people have mentioned that it strikes you as something kind of weird. The other thing that you will hear is that there have been some mendicant priests in the neighborhoods. And they are from the Order of the Justified Patriarch, Opus Dei, and people say that they've asked a lot of questions. And one of them will say, you know, your friend who comes by and gives you those weird things, like the poultices and the herby things and stuff.
You may have to narrow things down a bit, darling. So many come through my shop.
She looks like she might have been a nun.
Certainly, I will keep an eye to anyone matching this.
No. What I'm saying to you, Ermin, is that they were asking questions that make me think that they were asking about her. All I wanted to say, friend, just wanted to tell you.
How ominous. Well, thank you for the word.
And they will head out. So, Ermin, what do you want to do? Want to talk to your compatriots? Do you want to look into doing something with the building? Do you want to check out one of these things? What would you like?
I think the next time that Lilia comes by to try out her latest poultice on me, I mention in casual conversation that word had come to me about some mendicants of the Justified Patriarch nosing around.
And give us a frame. Like, what is your? We're going to take a shot. We're going to be in your tea shop. So, what do we see?
I want to say that it's relatively. There's wooden floors that are covered in rugs. There are these wooden wooden beams, hanging herbs. Just the aroma of roasted tea leaves and tinctures. There's some space away. There's at least one large table with a patterned tablecloth on it that people can sit at, and there's some space away from that table where I could, for instance, stretch out my legs and run through my morning exercises and greet the sun. And I would say that the spirit medium equipment is in this old chest bound in brass that has something casually thrown over it, so it's not immediately apparent to the eye.
So, Lilia, when Ermin tells you about this, what do you know about the Order of the Justified Patriarch? Good, bad, uncertain, even just a weird detail?
I'm totally having one of those deer in the headlights moments.
Oh, sure. So, well, let's just say this. How about I give you this and then you can add in details later. You know that it's not good news.
Oh yeah, definitely bad news.
Okay.
I think that they seek restitution from people who leave the order. Like, you have to basically pay what, like, you have to make monetary restitution for the time you would have been in the monastery for the work you did not do by leaving. So they're basically like holy debt collectors.
You know that if you don't have the cash, if you don't have something you can trade them, they'll take it in soul stuff.
That sounds pretty accurate.
So what's your reaction when you hear this?
I imagine it's kind of like my actual reaction to what was the question when you asked the question, was just like,
yeah,
I had no feelings about that whatsoever. You know, like, let me get back to what we have to do about that. They're not very good. Don't tell them where I am.
Of course not. And
I don't suppose you know how to get a whole lot of buns very quickly, do you? I mean, no, she wouldn't say that. She wouldn't, because she doesn't think they ought to be paid.
right.
Sorry, thank you for letting me kind of work through how she feels about this.
Trouble always does have a way of finding us, but whatever you need, dear, let me know. You've already done more than enough for me.
You know, I thought they were just a myth, you know? I guess I didn't really think they were real. Like the boogeyman for nuns. What an absurd... I mean, I suppose I shouldn't be surprised. The boogeyman is real. We learned that the other day. And so are talking cats and demons with cigars.
I almost want to say something about there being a family of boogeymen down one district over, but I'll say, well, this what's the name of the city? I will comment that it does contain multitudes.
Yes, the name of the city, hang on, I have it written down right here, is Birengan.
Thank you. So I will say that that Birengan does contain multitudes, though sometimes we have to deal with new facets of what that might mean for us. If they come seeking you here, they will not find you.
I keep telling myself I should stop being surprised, and yet every time I'm still surprised.
That's a good line to cut on. Let me come to Hudas. Hudas still got this cup. Had a good talk with Red Malari. What's your next step? Tracking down comrades, checking the streets, following up what?
I feel like Hudas feels guilty about Ermin's injury enough that he sneaks in. I mean, I said this in the chat, so I'm just gonna say it in the video. That he sneaks in like tinctures of the thing because he figures he's happy. I don't think it has adverse toxic effects, and he's always like checking if Lilia's like detecting the set, and it's like it smells like honey, so she's doing some honey thing. It's working. Like this should be okay. And it's like, and he's just obsessively tracking, and it's kind of weird because they're friends, but he's also like too embarrassed to not eavesdrop. So he'd rather eavesdrop, if that makes sense.
So let's say that you overhear this conversation and about Opus Dei. And Lily's reaction does, I mean, the first real sign of something really getting truly unnerving her right now. She took a lot in stride as you were going up the building, as her worldview expanded.
Yeah.
I think what's more accurate is that normally, like, when I'm surprised by a thing, I kind of freak out a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
This is more of like a dead silent freak out.
Nice.
And I always said, and I feel like if I could lean on to my concept, I say something like, "Oh, Padre Faura always pissed off the Pilindok." So yeah, Pilindok they always describe these men as like grimy old foxes. It kind of gave my adoptive father a bad name. I kind of like I have like a frustrated growl, and I feel like I kind of want to check up the gossip. I think I maybe there's a role for that.
Yeah. We
For
have Walk with Sheep.
yeah, for Padre Faura stuff.
Yeah.
I feel like I ask with more just more just more street matter of asking.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
Casual, in passing, talking to the people that you know on the street. So that's your word plus your word.
Hold on. Boop, boop. Okay, I have 2 words, so that's a 4. 3. I have 2 4s. I have a super long roller name, and I love that it worked.
So you're just talking with people on the street. That's difficulty 1. So you will get to pick 2 from the list, since you're just sort of generally talking about people that aren't as scary as, say, the demon was. So you get to pick 2 of those results.
Okay. Gain info and avoid unwanted attention. I feel like I went to the market, by the way, like the wet market. Like you have like those ladies always have the best goods, so everybody goes to them anyway.
They'll talk about these Opus Dei guys. They're clearly from not from the island. They're clearly not from the city. Come in from elsewhere. Clothes are cut different. The decoration looks like it's from the further west, and they'll mention that they smile, but they don't have any expression. Like they smile, but you can't see the smile in their eyes, and the rest of their face doesn't move. And they've been wandering about, teaching lessons, but they've also been asking about people.
You get any pamphlets, ma'am? They came around here.
Oh, they don't do pamphlets. They do meetings. They're trying to bring people in. They wander, spread the word, and then do evening meetings.
Any of you mammies have been to one?
No. They give food. They promise food, so some younger ones have gone.
Ooh. Do you have any friends who know of one?
Yeah, and they'll say, yeah, I know that there's one tonight. Off one of the old chapels that caught fire and burned a few years ago.
And I'm like palming the mangoes that they're selling. I'm like, oh, they like food, right?
Yeah, people come to because these priests, these things give food to people, so they'll come there.
Mm. Do they order food from you or not really?
That's a strange thing. No, they haven't come to the market. They expected to come and buy things from the market. They're feeding people. What are they feeding?
Do
them?
do you know anybody who I could go with? You have any nephews that you just want?
Yes,
I'll be a good older brother. I'll just
yeah. I just that you're a good looking young man. They have a good looking young nephew. They're like, we'd like to, certainly my nephew Pele, he would love to go with you. You go, blah 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 blah.
Yeah, and I feel like Bailey has like a small supot has like a small plastic bag of like odd fruits, and it's like I've always wanted to go to the day they do good things, and what's the reaction of the mothers who are selling to like to the, I don't know if it's kids or teenagers who are convinced that they do want to go to the free food place.
They don't like it, but it is free food, but they know better. They know if someone's offering something free,
It's not free.
not a good thing. Yeah.
Yeah. I high five Bailey, and I thank the aunt by like buying like a plastic bag of mangoes.
Okay.
And
including a few that you've already pocketed.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely. And I'm like, yeah, I feel like that's it.
Okay. Yeah, and we'll come back to do that. Let's come to Basanta.
I want to go check in on Herman.
Okay.
And I'm also watching for cigarette butts.
Absolutely. This you can always find the little pieces and pick them up and gather them together. I like the idea that you get there at the end of the conversation between Ermin and Lilia. You haven't heard what's going on, but they've definitely been talking something more serious.
So what you doing? Have you been doing grown-up stuff?
Hello, Basanta. It's good to see you again. I'm glad that you're well.
You were doing grown-up stuff.
There's certainly no shortage of it to go around. But I wanted to ask you something while I've got your ear. Isn't it
You have both
odd?
of them.
Wow, excellent. Then I need only say half of what I intended to, and all of it shall reach your ears. I've heard a lot of rumors about people walking around temporarily missing one of their eyes, and then getting it back at some point. Now,
That's
no one's talked about it as far as I know. Nobody's explained what's been going on, but there seems to be some sort of epidemic of missing eyes. And I mean, since all of your aunties and uncles catch your attention, I was wondering if you'd heard anything about that.
No, I haven't. But I did meet a new uncle.
Oh my!
He likes tobacco. But only the grotty little bits that you find in like the cigarette butts that people throw away. He's very particular. He only wants the very best of discarded tobacco.
Would a tea shop have much interaction with? Would a tea shop have much interaction with tobacco?
They're leaf gathering. They're similar. I mean, they're not
they're,
using the
it's
same
all
way,
leaf
but
based.
yeah.
Well, I don't have very much tobacco on hand. There's not much call for it in my shop. But the next time I source teas, I I will see if I can find a way to pass along some remnants to you if you're looking for a source for your uncle.
Sure, you might like that. Do you want me to look into the? So are the people still missing their eyes, or were they just missing their eyes and then their eyes came back?
It seems as if new
I
people
feel
are missing.
like maybe can I interject since I'm kind of still standing in the room?
Mhm.
I totally want to act like Lilia knows what this is, like that this is a cult of some sort, that she is one of the heresies she read about in when she was in the monastery.
Shaped a lie.
Exactly. Since I read about it when I was in monastery and it was a heresy, can I have my
Your-
background as well?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, 1 or 2 dice.
I think that's 1 die.
4 out of 7.
So on a full success, tell me something about this, what's going on with that.
Well, I think it's definitely got to be a knowledge cult of some sort, like a perception cult. That it's like that kind of classic idea of take away one kind of vision, achieve another kind of vision. Maybe I think that they believe if they injure the eye and then put a particular concoction distilled from the body of a particular god of knowledge, whose name we'll come up with in a second, that then thereafter that eye will be able to see the minor gods, or see evidence of the minor gods or something like that.
And let me, if I may add on to that, you also know that this cult, that they grant this wisdom to people, they help people get this, but then once they've done this, they can then see through that person's eye.
I was just going to say that, yeah.
That the cost is that they then have the ability to do that. So now they have their eyes everywhere. And let me we'll give this cult a name.
Thank you for working with me. I was like,
Sure.
I have enough of it to say this thing, but not the name and not exactly what they do.
So the name of the we'll give this is Rohan Tentone. That is the name of the figure that sort of stands at the center of that cult.
Well, that's a fascinating ritual, and although they seem to be providing a service that is perhaps what these people are looking for, I worry about what they might be planning in the long term. If they have deprived so many of an eye for a time, what is it that they might be looking for?
Is that a question for me?
It's kind of rhetorical. I was kind of curious if anybody was going to pick that up.
I think that they have major political aspirations, this cult. That they have used this power to move in, like, maybe I'm aware, like, it was like they conquered some land to the east. And so that's why, and they tried to make inroads on our continent before, and they were quashed by the deities here. So this is potentially a political thing.
And keep in mind that the little gods that are running around the streets, they're illegal. Like they're the ones at the top, the Saint Trinity and the leadership. Like if they get their hands on a little god, they'll put them in a box and carry them away.
So a group that is giving people the ability to see the little gods is perhaps an existential threat to my spirit network, depending on what people want to do with that information.
Yes.
Well, I may not have the eyes of a god, but with the leave of my friends, and I gesture to Basanta, perhaps I have other perhaps we have other eyes that we can lean on.
I don't think my uncles and aunties would like this very much.
It seems very divisive.
It seems like there's somebody trying to find them and trying to maybe hurt them or capture them. They don't like being captured. They like being out and being able to chat with their friends and play games and, well, do whatever gods do. Metal mostly.
If I were a little god, or even myself, I would not want to be sought after or captured. My eyes flick from. I look sidelong at Lilia, and my eyes flick to Basanta. There's a sort of there's an implication of Basanta might be useful with your current situation.
I think I'm obviously reluctant to tell Basanta that I'm potentially in trouble, because it would be difficult for her, being an adult, to lay a problem on a child. But I also understand that you have some expertise. So I explained kind of my situation, that there are these debt collectors interested who, when a promise is made to the church and that promise is broken, they collect restitution. And I just really need to not be found, because I would have to pay for all the remaining years of my life. Basanta, do you by any chance know of any way to hide me, or throw them off my tail, or get them to move on quickly, or any ideas at this point are welcome?
Well, I do know a little god who's good at hiding little things, but they have to be very little, like the size of a thimble. And you're bigger than that. I know a god of forgetting little things, but that's like forgetting where you left your keys. And you're bigger than keys.
Well,
maybe we could get them to, ooh.
that sounded like an idea.
What kind of payment do they accept?
That's a great question for the group. Soul stuff, which is what we said before, and
Money, cash, or they take it in soul stuff.
Okay.
So you just have like a little human soul, right?
That's what I had always assumed. Is there another sort that I might have?
What if we could get them God's soul? Do you think that might make them go away?
They might consider it to be blasphemy, but they might accept it. You would be a better judge of that than I.
I like that as kind of a hanging question here.
Can my brother's senses be tingling, and it trumps out my pride, and I just appear in the scene, but a little bit out of wind, and like
I think that's
just
perfect.
also out of sorts.
With a
And
bag
I'm
of
like,
mangoes.
and I'm like, and I'm also eating one. Like I just peeled one, and I was like in the middle of like eating a sour one, and I was like, what did you ask Basanta to do? I'm like, and kind of feeling both protective, but also like kind of straightforward. Yeah.
So what are you saying to them?
Basically, I'm really shocked about what you're asking, Basanta, and I'm kind of first. I kind of want the characters to react first before I say anything.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm kind of imagining that Lily is actually sort of afraid of you. Like, you were pretty scary the other day, and now you've just sort of barged into the space, and you're like glaring knives at me. So my impulse is to be like, guys, just asking for ideas.
I mean, I'm kind of used to this treatment from Hootis, right? So I kind of raise my eyebrows and say, I'm not asking Basanta to do anything she doesn't want to do. I trust, but I trust. I turn to gesture to Basanta and say, I trust your. I trust you to know. I trust you to know where to step and where to hesitate.
I look very cross. And I fold my arms over my chest. And I say, Hootis, you may be my older brother, but I can get into trouble just fine on my own. Thank you very much. And I'm going to stomp my foot. And I think this is the first inkling we have of the shoes being something more than they appear, because it splinters the floor in a straight line.
I love that. Oh,
Yeah.
nice. Yeah.
There's sort of a strangled cry from Ermine.
I feel like who this just mirrors like how you cross your arms, like you can play that game, and instead of staring at Ermin and Lily, it's like staring back at you, back at the group, and it's like we don't. I feel like y'all are. I feel like Kuda says that y'all are obviously. We need more information. We can't make decisions now on how to trick them with soul stuff. Though, and then he acknowledges that, okay, fine, the god soul thing was kind of smart. But we need to have more information. I have an idea. I have a place and a location. I have this cute. What's his name? Bailey. Yeah, I almost said Bene. I have this friend Bailey, who's going into the thing. If we come as friends and if we appear younger, and then I kind of like, at Urban, like, you always have those spells that make you look younger for a bit, right? And I'm like, we could probably get in there. The last place that they would think of looking for a nun is actually like where they don't want to look for you, so it's gonna be okay.
No, that's quite an opportunity you've afforded us, and I look very grateful at that. Though I do make sidelong eye contact with Lilia, because clearly Hootis has been on this project longer than the last 10 minutes. I don't know, what would I have if I'm a spirit? I've been used to interacting with the spirits. I wonder if is there something we can do to like make disguises?
Let's see.
Oh, I was thinking that maybe a spirit could like be on top of us, and they're the ones. I mean, we could be wearing hoods and stuff, so Then there's a spirit that just throws like a scramble signal for people trying to perceive us.
You can essentially ask for the Dewata to assist you. There is a move for doing that, for getting them to give you help, so we can kind of mechanically do that. Let's stop here and take 5. Take our break, and then we'll come back and we'll look at that mechanical step.
Cool. 5 minutes, right?
5. Yep.
Okay.
Lowell, I hope you were rubbing your hands together because they're cold and you were trying to get circulation back into them or something along those lines instead of the evil plans you have for us.
Can it be both? Because it's pretty warm up here. I'm just enjoying this. It's there's lots of wild, fun characters running around in a wild
And
place.
I think to give you more fuel, there's a very, I think I'm gonna want Lilia to go rogue here in a second.
Oh, okay. So Ermin was wondering about using the spirits to kind of make a disguise of some kind.
Yeah, I wasn't entirely sure how that works mechanically or narratively. I can certainly consult the spirits for things and learn things from the spirits, but this almost sounds like trying to ask the favor of a small god.
Yeah. So interestingly, in an earlier version of the rules, they have a move for this, but it is no longer in there. But it seems to me like we have my fallback when we come to this is always struggle unafraid against gods. But I think let's fictionally position it. Let's say, I mean, you're a spirit medium, so we know that you can contact them. What kind of spirit would you go to? What would you ask?
I would seek something trickster aligned and something focused on deception or confusion. Wow, well, it sounds like Hudis has a patron in mind.
Well,
so perhaps I'll just set up a space. Is Hudis willing to contact their patron to help us out here?
her patron is missing.
Do they have disciples or servitors or other helpful spirits that are aligned with them?
Just to help out Lowell, maybe it's like because in Pilandok canon or Huantamad canon, he always like hangs below a guava tree waiting for the guava fruit to fall, and he just tricks people to just get it for him, or like he's just a lazy asshole. So he's just, so I'm thinking the people who took care of the tree, or like maybe the guavas are enchanted in this version and that they have souls and that they could talk. I mean, they could reform themselves into a funny face, like you know how fruits always have.
So you
Like,
think that's something he has to go out and seek out as one of these guavas, or do you think is he like act like summoning the spirit of one of these things?
I feel like if we could piece together like enough items amongst the group, like we could like make a circle that summons the spirit of like this guava tree.
The spirit of the guava stolen. The guava stolen out of season.
I tell you what, if you're willing to commit your Gaham to this, Hudis, I think you can, since you have this in your sort of mythic backstory.
Oh yeah.
That you could essentially create these objects, and they would create the disguises. You know, essentially you get some guava, and you plant those, and then when people have to put them on their face, it smells like guava.
It's like a face mask.
Yeah,
it's just a Korean face mask. Don't worry, guys.
It's a guava facial. Okay.
Don't worry, it's just a facial. But yeah, totally. I want to do that.
Okay. So tell me what that ritual looks like for you to enchant these things.
Yeah, so me and Ermin do some like space. What I mean by space talk is galaxy brain talk, and then I feel like we intuitively like, so we just nerd out, you know, and we're like, hey, you have this do you have this? Yeah, you have this. And then we just like position these plates and like my old playing cards, and I flip them around, and I dip some of them in like weird water, and I ask someone, like, I think I asked Lilia, do you have like an orange like
So you
fabric?
turn around and I am not there. I poofed while y'all were busy.
OMG! Oh my god.
Perhaps too much too fast. I acknowledge.
Mm-hmm.
We'll come to Lilia in just a second. So just finish. How do you finish out this
Yeah.
ritual, and then we're going to go to Lilia.
Yeah. So I put the veil on top of me, right? So that I don't have a face, and then I start and then I pray with my gahum, and then I start chanting in like a weird voice that laughs too much. And it's almost like, and then I yell at myself. Who does? It's like, but it's not me. It's like a different voice. Who does you? What? Yeah, you. Me. Why do you keep? Where are you again? And then it's like obviously not me. It's like an old tree that's really pissed off by everybody who keeps carving stuff. But I have my hands like searching the table and like putting the things together without seeing anything. And then like one of the plates, when I smash it, like the plates when I smash them, they become like these masks that have like a guava color, like almost like a porcelain kind of clay burn.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's almost like I like snap at Ermin and Basanta, and they go like, and I just laugh, and they go like, I like you, but the other one, the missing one, she's wanted. She's wanted. And then I go, I feel like so I crack my neck around and I go like, I'm about to leave soon. If anybody else has questions about these, and I'm like holding up masks that look like them, and even Lilia, even if she's not here anymore, you ask them now.
Ermin, do you ask anything of this trickster god? You know that's a dangerous thing to do.
I ask what the masks will not allow. What is a taboo or ban associated with the masks? What must we avoid doing?
Don't tell the truth. You know that. You're supposed to lie. Truths are expensive. Cost, yeah.
And lies flow like wine.
And don't sneeze.
And then who does his body just laughs like a really big laugh that feels bigger than his own body.
Like that's expelling the spirit out of you, like the last laugh.
Yeah, totally. Unless Pocket had an idea for Basanta. Yeah.
No.
No.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh,
yeah,
sorry.
yeah. So it expels it totally expels after the last laugh.
Let's cut to Lilia. We might even rewind a little bit into the thing, and we go back a bit, and we see Hudis and Ermin, doing their shop talk. Galaxy Brain, Basanta, kind of watching. And what do you do? What do we see happen?
I'm curious what the. Sorry, go on.
I think, Will, you were exactly right. This is like too much, too fast. I was like asking for ideas, and all of a sudden we're breaking into their compound. Like, and Lilia just, I think I'm going and I'm praying. And I'm like, I'm going to walk by myself and I'm going to soul search. And I am asking I'm not even sure who, because I'm not asking my own gods. I am asking, I guess, the city itself and like my own. I'm having like an existential crisis, and I'm like, should I just go turn myself in so that and then I'm admitting they're my friends, don't get themselves hurt trying to defend me. And I think there is a move that I am triggering.
Oh, okay.
Because I'm also imagining that I'm walking barefoot and I'm not paying attention to where I'm running, and then my feet are bloodied by the end of it from walking across trash. And so I'm going to sacrifice a Ginhawa and gauge the omen to see what happens if I turn myself in, if it is a blessed action. Does that seem reasonable?
That seems perfect.
So I gotta find the character sheet. It's spirit plus wisdom, right?
Spirit plus wisdom.
And I'm good at this. I have 4 successes.
4 successes.
Mhm.
Uh,
Well, things turned out well if I go turn myself in, basically. Is it the best course of action?
And I think there'll be that where you're walking along and then you get this waft of an ashtray.
Interesting.
And I think you'll see this little man walking beside you. And he says, you must know someone I know, because they sent me to tell you.
Tell me what?
Tell me to tell you that turning yourself in is foolishness. You have to kick back against the pillars of heaven. You have to knock things down. You are here to change the order of things. These are collectors of taxes that go back into the coffers of those who keep everyone down. Why would you pay them? Kick
The
in
problem
their
is
doors.
It is not, the problem isn't that I'm paying them, it's that if things go poorly, my friends will pay, and then there will be the retribution. What is truly the lesser of the evils? And so I guess I'm just having like a little bit of a back and forth here.
Yeah. They're your friends. They are your comrades. Would you do this for them?
Of course.
Then let them do this for you. Or you do not consider them your equal?
So I think there's like a long period of them just walking next to each other, where Lily is settling on like coming to terms with this idea.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would love to ask our friend, whose name I have forgotten.
His name is Labudosan.
Labudosan. I'm going to ask him his name. And Labudosan, you are the first little god I've ever spoken to.
We've always been around.
I'm coming to learn that. I don't suppose while we're talking that you know anything about our foes that I might bring back to strengthen my friends.
See, you ask too much. Ask too much. And where's your gift for me if you're going to ask for something like that?
Oof, I do wish I had some tobacco to give him.
Yeah. He says, just don't give yourself up, and you'll find the right way to do these things.
Okay. All right. So I guess then I'm going to turn this long walk into an opportunity to collect herbs and things, since likelihood is someone will get hurt in this venture.
Absolutely.
And so am I learning that going back and going with the team is a blessed action, or simply
It is, yes.
Great.
So I'm going to say the first action that everyone has important in the scene. Everybody will get a bonus die. Does that seem fair?
Awesome, thank you.
Okay.
And then I also get to roll Wisdom for Spirit to get Tomball, which is, I guess, I am heading over to the abandoned building of giant blue bees to collect as much honey as I can.
Okay.
And so that I get 2 doses.
2 doses. That's not bad.
And I'll put that on my character sheet.
Okay.
And then I will go back and by then it's late.
Yeah. As evening is kind of falling, as you finish this ritual and have recovered, you will see Lilia come back. Lily, what do they see? Are your feet still bare?
Yes, and we actually established last time that I have really weird feet.
Yes. Sort of spider-legged feet.
Yeah. I'm really thinking like they're black and they're kind of, I think that they're kind of oozing. They don't bleed exactly. It's similar, because insect blood it's not cyan based. It's yellow. And I forget what. Like the way a bruise is, it goes yellow. It's the same chemical. So I think it's like that. And then it's kind of clotting stickily, and it makes sort of like a gooey sound as I walk. But it doesn't seem to be bothering me at all.
I give you a friendly nod when you come back. I don't advertise your presence. I'm assuming the ritual is over so that we don't further traumatize you. But at some point, as further planning goes on, I appear at your side with a basin of warm water and some salve and towels, and say, "Darling, you have done so much to care for me. I hope that you leave some care for yourself."
And I think I laugh and I say, there was a very old story at the monastery very much like this. It was a great man washing the feet of someone who was much his lesser.
You sell yourself far too short.
Blushing and smiling.
Yeah.
So if it's okay, I'd like to do like a wipe cut to the 4 of you in disguise, masked. We probably have some a visible sign for the audience so they know it is you. And you 4 will arrive. 5. I assume you picked up Bele. Bele is in his best suit because his aunt has told him that he has to dress to impress you, and so he is in his best suit, and he has a bag of fresh fruit that he will hold out and offer to you.
Wait, to who? To me?
To you, Hootis. Yes.
Oh yeah, and I look more handsome because I made the mask. So it's
yeah.
I was like, I made my eyes like shinier.
Oh yeah, Bailey's kind of this is for you. Let's go and kind of. Oh, and your friends. Let's go.
Yeah, and I get it, and I go like, you look very nice tonight.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. And we duck down to the and I feel like I just follow him to the. So
you will arrive at what was a chapel, essentially from one of the orders that got burnt several years ago. It looks like some people have spent some time cleaning it up, getting it cleared out. It still has that smell burnt wood that's nearly impossible to get out. But there are probably another dozen like teens and young people here who have come both because their parents said don't do it, and because they're hungry, and so you get this mixture of things. All of them look at everybody with kind of a whatever look on their faces. But you will go in and you will see that they have candles, like nice, clean, white wax candles. Those are expensive. They've got them set up around. They've got benches here that they've pulled together. And you will see that there are essentially half a dozen of these Opus Dei priests. They are in these robes that they kind of shuffle along. And when the group of 5 of you arrive, one of them comes over to where you're at and smiles. And when it smiles, it's just the mouth that moves. The rest of the face stays absolutely still. And you're not sure why. Sort of almost rictus in its own way. And they'll say, "Thank you for coming. Are you ready to hear us talk? We will be providing some delicious food for everyone here."
And then I bow down and say, "Thank you. We're very excited. We're very to be participate in your honorable organization. We would love to hear all about it."
Absolutely. Come in and sit. And gestures to all of you, and the others are kind of coming around, and you'll see them wheel in a table, and it is laden with pastries and cakes and candies and like little cups of like pudding, and the sort of flans and creme brulees and all of that. It is just, and your teeth almost hurt when you look at it. It's just piled with these. And they'll say, if everyone wants to take a couple to have to snack on while you're listening to us talk, and then there's more for later. And they'll gesture, and the other teens they'll try not to look impressed, but they'll go over and start pawing at the displays for the most beautiful things there.
And I imagine we did not have the sensible talk of we probably shouldn't eat anything before we go, right? We didn't have that discussion at all.
I don't think so.
I feel like I had a big plastic of mangoes though before we like right in the ritual thingy. So I feel like we're relatively not hungry though.
Yeah, but boy,
and just ate something really sweet. So
yeah, they're so delicious. I mean, look at that. That's just what a beautiful pastry. Got kind of crispy golden color on it. You see the glint of sugar.
Yeah, I guess I'll go over and I'll take a pastry and go and sit down cross-legged waiting for the presentation, and bring it to my mouth and tentatively smell the scents coming off of it and try and get a sense of what's going on here.
Okay.
So I am trying to steal the secrets of God.
Yeah.
I'm trying to determine if there's like any kind of toxin or poison or hallucinogen, or do I sense something off about the pastry?
Let's have you roll. And then I want to check in with Basanta, who we haven't heard from for a little bit.
Rebellion plus spirit plus background?
Yeah, that seemed perfect.
Okay. Do it's
Plus the +1 if you want the
Oh, yeah.
+1.
this? I get that once, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This doesn't seem like the one time.
So this is a partial success. What is your question?
What has just happened here? Like the gesture of the pastries.
Eating the pastries themselves are fine. It's that the pastries create an obligation, and they're all about debts and obligations. And they haven't said anything about them being free or there being no cost or no strings attached. So they've offered them to you, and they will put a little weight of debt on your soul if you eat them.
All right. And of course, I've taken one, which is, I've gotten my grubby little
Yeah,
fingers all over
No,
it.
no, we're not going to put that back.
Maybe I'll leave it on. Maybe I'll leave it on a table or something.
Basanta, what do you make of all this?
I don't trust this food on instinct.
That
We're a
seems
bunch
fair.
of grubby street kids. Why are they giving us all these delicious things to? I mean, these things look delicious. It must taste even better. I don't trust this. And so, because I still don't quite know what these shoes do, but I remember what happened back at Urban's shop. And Urban, I'm really so sorry about that. I can't believe that happened. I totally didn't mean that. I didn't mean to do it. I hope you forgive me. But here, I don't trust them. So I'm going to tap my foot in the direction of that cart to see if I can knock it over with the force generated by this shoe.
All right. So let's have you. I don't think it's a combat thing. Let's have you roll double violence.
Okay. And my violence is 2. So that is 46. That's 4 successes.
That is 4 successes. So, these kids have gotten a bunch of these things, but before all of them can be taken, will shake, and one of the table legs will give, and it will go over onto the floor into a big sugary confectionery frosting and cream mess on the floor there. And there's a lot of sad looks from everyone. And the priests are like, we have some more. We'll get those after the ceremony. I'm very sorry. Everything will be fine. And we'll get that cleaned up in a minute. And
I yell at the priests, is this food free?
please take what you want.
That doesn't answer my question. Is it free?
Well, certainly we're asking you to come and listen to our conversation, so there certainly is a charge.
I narrow my eyes and squint at them.
Oh, I bet the assembled kids don't like that.
Yeah, they're not digging it. But the priest will kind of read the room and say, I will make this quick. I'll make this quick and let you get back to your eating and so on. Just a simple discussion. We have been empowered by the Emperor Daruya to help. We have been offered an opportunity to bring help down here to you. And he will reach over and he will pull out this like picture that he puts on a stand. And he says, I want to help you get better, to raise yourself up. And the way you can do that is become part of this pyramid. So, as you can see, at the top, we have the high priests up here. And then down below each one, we have several priests. And it goes down the chain. And we bring you in as collectors. And then you get a set of people that you work with and train below you. And then he brings out like a tray with fancy pieces of jewelry and clothing and things like that. These are all things that can be yours if you do well here and you become part of our order. Going out, spreading the word, collecting, building up that chain of people. And as you can imagine, it is about 10 minutes of him offering a divine, holy pyramid scheme.
Multi-level marketing.
Yes, multi-level marketing. And he's got beautiful stuff there, stuff, flash and things that some of the kids are looking at. And, you can see that most of the kids are like, but there are just a few of them that you can see that glint in their eye, the greed that's offering, the opportunity that's being offered to them. And he kind of finishes up his conversation and he says, so I'm here to answer any questions that you might have. We've brought out some more food for those of you. I did want to ask all of you one more thing, if I could. We're looking for a lost friend, a lost soul in these areas, someone who is very dear to us. Her name is Lilia. She left our order to come here to tend to the poor. And you'll see one of them go, clearly, maybe has heard your name from the people at the building and maybe starts to raise their hand and maybe thinks better of it. But you see the priest sees that and is like, okay, well, I'll talk with everybody in a bit. And then he glides over to that person. What do you want to do? Let's start with Lilia.
I mean, is it reasonable that I now want to go, I'm just enraged and want to attack this person because they're running a pyramid scheme and I'm just as a player so enraged by
Oh
this.
yeah, and here's the thing it's not just that these are like the terrible, taxing, awful boogeymen. It's that they're so profane and prosaic at the same time.
Yeah, it's really gross. I mean, it's clearly a mistake for me just to run up behind him and hit him with my stick, but that's really kind of what I want to do.
Is that what Lily is going to do?
I feel like I need permission from the rest of the group because I'm going to be really bad at this.
You get a bonus die.
I think it's a terrible decision and it's amazing and you should do it.
Okay, because it's only 3 days. I think this person that he's going to talk to just happens to be sitting 2 seats over for me, and he has to pass in front of me, and I just want to whip out the stick and get him in the back of the head as he goes by.
Absolutely.
Right.
I think that I'm going to give you a bonus die because this is completely out of the blue.
Yeah, it's so ridiculous. Thank you. No successes.
No successes.
No successes.
So
And that's a gift back to us.
As you step in front of him and you swing, his head spins a full 180 and his arm twists back against the grain and grabs that stick and says, now, what do we have here?
Does.
Let's see, who's the next closest? Is it Hudis? Is it Ermin?
I imagine I sat down next to Ermin.
Okay.
I'm not entirely certain blocking wise where Basanta or this would be.
Ermin, what do you do?
I'm going to knock over the table of pastries and shout, "Food fight!"
Interesting. So is that your attempt to kind of cause chaos in here then?
Yeah, I kind of, what I'm as a player, I'm not quite finding the words for this, but I think Ermin has been slowly getting like side eye with other teenagers who are thinking this is just absolute garbage over the course of this presentation. And what they're trying to do right now is encourage all of those teenagers who think that this is all a pile of garbage to just jump up and down on top of it and cause chaos.
Is it Ignite a Flame?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's exactly. Igniting motion or instill passion into a group of people.
Okay.
It is word plus spirit.
That is a big number. This is not supernatural. This is definitely not, like, I'm pretending to be a teenager. This is definitely not my background.
Right.
So
hello, fellow kids.
4 successes.
So you shout that out, and all of, as I said, like there are a dozen kids, including Bele. Only a couple of them were into the whole mid-level marketing speech. All the others are mad that they got dragged to this, and this was not nearly as cool or as interesting or as heretical as they expected it to be. And they grab everything, and suddenly the air is just filled with pastry and sugar, and it is everywhere. And the priests are desperately trying to knock it aside. And so the other priests are not going to be able to like focus in and realize what's going on with the priest that's been attacked yet. And I think that will set up that chaotic. I'm going to say that will give an extra plus die bonus to everybody for the next turn, just from environmental factors there. And I will put a couple of favor into the favor pool from that one, because I think that's pretty awesome. Hudis, what do you do, Danger Child?
Oh no! Wait, I just read like a move called Devour the Souls That Are Rightfully Yours that we get from the previous session. Like,
yeah, that's why I did the 2 attainments. I kind of worked it out.
Okay, got it. So I was like, okay, because I realized because I was like staring at the other acts. Wait, let me just look at my wisdom and spirit. I actually want to, I want to get Lilia's mask and put it on Bailey's face. But I'm like, oh, but he's just an innocent. So I like take off my mask and put Lilia's mask on me. And I don't know what move to do that with. But I'm like, Billy, I'm so sorry, but and then like, kind of like kiss him, but it's to transfer my face and then get Lilia's.
I think that's sway the flock, essentially to fool and
yeah. So that's
word
4.
plus wisdom.
Yeah. Okay.
I think it's pretty easy. I think difficulty 1.
Okay. Yeah, I just basically nabbed him, but okay, come on.
You play
Okay,
the shell game with the masks.
Wait, I entered the wrong number of dice. Sorry. Okay, let me roll dice again.
Sherry,
Can
Lily.
I assist with this by trying to move through the crowd? Like, is that like because you're trying to, so basically make them think you're me, right? So if I notice you're doing that and move evasively and try and get close, I guess.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
perfect. You just say you're doing that. That will give Hoodus an extra die. They get an extra die for the food fight.
Okay. Okay. Do I just re-roll or I roll? Because I got 1, 3, and 1. Wait. Oh, a hit is a 4, right? And up.
4 and up.
Yeah, I only got 1 hit, but if
So
I
then
have 2
re-roll
extra
everything, said the generous
Okay.
GM.
die. Okay, so 1 die for the food fight and 1 die for Lilia cooperating with like what I'm thinking.
Yes.
Awesome. Okay. Okay, I got 4 hits. Oh my gosh. Okay.
So you have Lilia's mask, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What mask does Lilia have?
Oh, she doesn't have one right now.
So she'll look like Lilia.
Yeah, older Lilia. Yeah.
Okay.
I look like younger Lilia.
Okay. And whose mask does Bele have on then?
Mine.
Yours. Okay. All right. So there's a
Yeah.
swap. And Lilia, you'll realize that you are exposed now.
Okay.
We'll come
Yeah,
back
but
to that.
I
in
look
just
like
1 second.
but the one who smacked them was my face.
But they're hunting for Lilia.
Oh,
Basanta, let's come to you.
Did we just like shoot ourselves in the foot there? Did we do like the
Yes.
exact wrong thing? We did. But we're standing right next to each other, I think.
Yes, absolutely. You're right next to one another. Basanta, what do you want to do when you see this all go down? It's like Lily has a little sister or a little brother. Well, a brother with anyway.
I am overjoyed. Ermin shouted food fight. I mean, a grown-up basically said, trash this place, which means I totally have permission to trash it. I'm going to start jumping to find out what will happen with these shoes if I'm actually jumping up and down in them.
Interesting. So let's do this. I think at this point, let me check the combat acts. So your intent is to break the place if you can?
In the parlance of one of my favorite punk bands, I want to wreck the place fantastic.
Okay. Then let's have you roll violence plus rebellion. And let's see what happens.
Probably nothing good.
Fair
Violence plus rebellion, you said. And that is 5 dice. Does anyone have an idea of how they... Is that then I add another die on because of... You said for the first round, we all get an extra die?
Just get an extra die for that. And
Is
an
there
extra die for the
anything-
food fight. So that's 7 dice.
Okay, so there's 7. Well, shoot. I don't necessarily think I need to even look for help with that. I mean, that's a lot of dice, and all I'm doing is stamping on the floor.
Sure.
That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 successes.
If this building had been a standard conventional building, you probably would have only like broken floorboards, shattered things around you, done that kind of immediate crash and break. But as I mentioned at the start, this building was on fire at one point and has been badly rebuilt. So I think that it will start to come down like immediately. And I think that because you got 5 successes, it takes out one of the priests and it cuts off another 2 of them. Essentially, that comes down. And with 5 successes, I think that none of the teens are going to get hurt as they're heading for the door. But you've essentially pinned a couple of the priests and taken out one of them. Does that seem like a fair response to 5 successes?
Especially considering that I rolled 666 in succession on the dice.
Fair
I
enough.
think that's fair enough to make God bleed.
Absolutely. So section of the roof comes down, pushes back some of the priests, crushes one. The teens are running out the door. Lilia, this priest still has a hold of your staff, is twisted around looking at you, and his eyes go wide now that he sees you and another you. What do you do?
What do I do? I should just hit him again, apparently. Dude, I'm kind of tempted to just I'm like out of ideas, guys.
No, that totally sounds valid. Like now I get to smack you with like.
Do we want to chase them off or take one alive?
Yeah, I guess. What are Lilia's goals here?
Yeah, it's a good question.
I think taking one. I don't think it's a good idea to take one of these alive. I think that's dangerous. I feel like it's not narratively interesting for me to like use the scenery again like I did last time. I'm happy to let somebody else go ahead while
Okay, let's
Lilia, I think is a little bit like me, where she gets ears in the headlights and freezes a little bit.
Then let's have Hudis go since Hudis is right next to you, and then we'll check in with Ermin. Okay, Hudis, you've popped over there. You've swapped these masks. This priest has a hold of the stick that Lilia is holding. You can see Lilia kind of like uncertain about what to do next. What do you do, Hudis?
Oh, I came up with an idea.
Okay, go ahead.
The minute you stop looking at me, I I'm going to shape the lie. I have remembered some weakness that these people have that is going to give us advantage against them. So we know that their heads spin around, and we know that they're super double jointed.
Mm-hmm.
How can we use that against them? I want to say that.
Let's have you roll Shape the Life first.
Okay. All right. Remember what? I think I get 6 dice for that. Three successes.
That is a full success. So what is it you want to establish that is a weakness for them?
I think that they're like, I'm thinking they're like, I want to say they have like really bad balance. Like,
the body is not made to spin around like that at all.
No, and like, so their joints are like too loose, like, and so they don't deal well with really fast movement. Like if you move quickly around them, they're easily disoriented as well. I think, or it's like a
perfect
balance.
Yeah.
I want to imagine like if you spin them around, they'll just kind of like collapse.
Oh yeah. Whatever ritual is done that has tightened up their face muscles and loosened their joints has
destabilized their ligaments.
Yes.
Or something.
So you pass that on to Hudis?
I do, and I think, and that will qualify for +2 dice if you use it because of my sharing knowledge thing, and then you would also get the additional Gaham if your action succeeds.
All right, what are you going to do?
Who this is gonna say, "Bless me, Father, for I have sinned," and is like gonna. I feel like because of what Lilia said about the joints, I feel like I'll target the joints with like a bunch of. I don't know if I have a bunch of. I don't think I have a bunch of needles, but I feel like my thief tools, like the lock picking, are like pointy enough and numerous enough to hit like one on the neck, one on the elbow, one on the hips, one on the knees, one on the ankles. And it's like this really weird, cheeky thing because I look like Jane but younger. Yeah, and it, yeah.
Let's have you roll violence plus rebellion with an additional 1 die for the food fight and an additional 2 dice for the information.
Okay. And that's 4 hits.
4 hits. So you're going to deal your wounds. You're not going to get struck back at. And what do you want as your extra bonus under Make God Bleed? Do more damage. We could just do the body parts thing. That's the second pick if you want.
Wait. I kind of want the bleeding.
Yeah, so I think you will hit him in those joint points. There's that sort of soft, a little bit of that kind of unpleasant deboning chicken feel there when you hit in there, and he'll fall back, and he's trying to twist his head back the right way or his arms back the right way, but they're not going. And
but my thing is inside there.
Yeah, and I think there is that moment when he realizes just how much blood he's losing, and he slides to the floor, and is kind of, the body is sort of spinning itself back into position even as he's dying.
God, you're creepy.
Ermin, you muted. No.
Are there any priests still standing?
There are 2 priests who weren't knocked away or pinned that are kind of trying to judge what's going on. Unfortunately, they haven't exactly seen because the air is still filled with frosting, but they're going to be able to see in a moment.
Okay, I'm going to offer to swap faces with Hudis.
Oh, okay.
So that I'm Lilia.
Oh, okay. How do you tell me? I'm just curious. I mean, that's just fictional thing.
Yeah.
Oh, it's vaguely complicated because the other two priests are sort of disoriented, but they haven't been. They're not privy to
what is going on.
To what's going on here. Are they going to be coming over? Like,
what will happen is, while they won't necessarily go after young Lilia, if they see old Lilia, they will definitely go after old Lilia because that's who they came to the city for.
Right. So I'm going to take off the face that I have, and so I revert back to Ermine.
Okay.
And I'm going to offer it like a ripe guava to Hudis.
Okay. I think that doesn't
I
take
think
an action.
Hudis gets it, but smacks it on Lilia's face instead.
Legit. So
I'm like, thank you,
I think
so
that's
you're still Lilia then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Young Lilia though.
Young Lilia, Ermin, young Ermin, old Ermin. So what is old Ermin doing?
Old Ermin was going to go try and spook the crap out of the monks, but was going to try and do it with young Lilia's face. Unfortunately, that ship has sailed. So I'm going to I'm going to ask for a pass because
Sure.
old Ermin is having to recalculate what he can do in this circumstance.
I feel like when you notice that, I'm like, okay, fine, and then I give you mine. I missed my face anyway. I feel like, but I still wanted to do the whole protect Lilia's mug with Ermin's old mug.
Okay. So I'm gonna peek over some of the rubble while wearing young Lilia's face, and I'm going to make eye contact with some of the priests.
Okay.
And I'm going to say, "This place is barred to you," in young Lilia's voice. "You are not welcome here. We are watching. We will always be watching."
Ooh, interesting.
And then I'm gonna duck out of sight, take the face off, and toss it back to Hudis.
So, what's your intent? What is it that you want to have happen here?
I'm trying to terrorize them. I'm trying to get some sort of "we are all Spartacus" thing going on with young Lilia's face.
Yeah.
But it's tricky because we only have one of them at a time. And I'm just trying to absolutely spook these people into breaking.
I think you've got some leverage to possibly terrorize one of them with Sway the Flock. I think that seems like the way to do that.
Okay.
Or no, actually, I'm sorry. Ignite a flame. We're trying to ignite emotion or passion in a group, and there are two of them, so that's more than one. So, word plus spirit.
Okay. If Hudis doesn't want me to lob this to them, I might carefully put it on something and scoot the thing in his direction.
Okay.
But I'm trying to encourage us to pass the Lilia. This is 6 dice plus 1 from the food dice, food fight, plus another from the blessing. So this is 8 dice.
Look at that.
But for that, 2 hits.
So I think that they will panic and run out of here, shouting and making noise, and you will hear the whistle of a lawgiver outside, like a street whistle. And you know that they don't care about actually what's going on. They'll just be here to knock heads and take people in. Basanta, what do you want to do?
You know, Lilia looks worried about those priests. So I'm going to make sure to bring the entire building down on them.
There's the 2 have run out. So that there's just the 2 more that are kind of trapped there. You want to bring that down on them?
Yeah, might as well.
Okay. So I think that is make God bleed.
Okay. And I'm just going to stomp away at them with those shoes. So make God bleed is combat acts and violence plus rebellion. Okay. Do I get anything for using the shoes again?
Yeah, the shoes are plus 1 die bonus.
Okay, so there's 6. Do we still have a bonus from the food fight?
I think that ship has sailed at this point because most of the teens have run out because of the collapsing building.
Are there any other bonuses, like environmental bonuses, that are in play at the moment?
I don't think so.
Okay. And then, does my concept come into this at all? Considering that I'm basically one of the kids that they're targeting, since I'm just like this street urchin beggar.
Oh, I like that. Yeah. You're catching revenge because that's the kind of people that they're exploiting here.
Yeah. Right. So there's a 7 dice rolling. That is 1, 2, 5 successes, 3 6s, and 2 4s.
So I think that with that side of the building comes crashing down on them. And there's maybe a minor yelp but then it just comes down, and there's just ashes and dust and dirt from that, and they are absolutely buried beneath that. Lily, you see that. You see the twitching of this head priest as he gives up the ghost. You see half the building come down on some of the remaining priests. You saw 2 of them run out, terrified by what is going on. What is your reaction now? No, that's okay.
Sorry, spacing.
I know. I've
It's
done
late
that.
here. Could you ask the question again?
So half the building comes down, crashes. You see that. You see now 3 of those priests are gone just in that rubble of this shoe smashing girl. You saw 2 of them run out, terrified, and the head priest who was coming for you, who grabbed your stick, is twitching, passing away on the floor.
So I consider the ones that are in the room with me dealt with. But I am worried about those ones that are running away, because I have a feel like I believe that if they get away, this is going to be worse than if we had done nothing.
Quite possibly.
So I'm going to run after them.
Okay. So
Which I guess is flutter.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which is going to be 3. 3 dice. I'm just looking at like.
There are 2 favor in the favor pool.
The problem is that, like, even if I do this, I don't necessarily. I mean, I'm then set up to maybe make God bleed against them, but other than that, I'm not really sure how much I actually achieve by doing that.
I kind of just since you were them before, I'm kind of leaning on that you're familiar with their magic and what kind of magic. I mean, I'm not sure. Did the cult kind of make a ritual thingy inside the church?
Well, this is a different group.
Yeah, this is like the debt collectors. This is like the guys.
They're not the magic people. They're the debt people.
No.
Okay.
They're,
If I stomped in their general direction to like kind of knock them off their feet, would that help you?
I'm actually wondering if it's something where I can maybe yell that we need to stop them. They can't get away.
Okay.
And
I'm just.
We've got cut with thought.
That's what I'm looking at,
Yeah.
and I think that that's my best bet.
Essentially, you move behind them. You don't get up to them, but you're calling out what needs to be done.
Yeah, I mean, what I do want to use the scenery. I mean, there's pastry cream all over the ground, right?
Mm-hmm.
It should be slippery.
Fair.
Can you borrow the chain that I have from the last session?
You could hand that off, but we're kind of it's up to Lilia. What do you want to
Thank
do?
you so much to the group for letting me just talk through ideas here and figure out what makes sense.
Yeah.
So in terms of the cream, are you using that to like get yourself that full slide over to where they're at?
That's what I want to do. That's totally what I want to do. I want to use the pastry cream to do the flutter, to slide over there so that I'm set up next time to wallop somebody again. Because I would just really like to get somebody with my stick.
Okay. Then I'll give you an extra die for the environment.
Okay. All right. So that's up to 4.
And there are 2 pool, 2 favor in the favor pool.
I'm going to save that for if I actually get to hit him.
Okay.
Which I probably do, because I just rolled 3 successes.
3 successes, so you get to pick 2 from flutter.
Okay, so I am moving all the way across the battlefield. I am arriving. I'm assuming that will get me not only like up to them, but like sliding. Like
You've got some momentum.
Yeah, and I'm really slick from the pastry cream, and like I'm imagining maybe it's like a thin layer of ash outside.
Yeah.
And so it's like kind of like sand surfing.
Okay.
We're gonna go with it.
I like it. And
yeah.
the other pick?
And then the other pick is going to be the +2 to make God bleed, because I'm going to turn right around and whack them.
Okay.
If
So
that's all right with everybody.
I think the two of them are running. You come up behind, you kind of slide in, and one of them will like stop to turn and face you. That's the sort of retaliation. But the other one is keeping running at this point, and you hear the whistle of a lawgiver coming closer. Hootis. You see Lilia go out the door. A frosting wake kicked up behind her.
Yeah. I kind of want to flutter too, but I feel like I asked Basanta to like kick one of the giant rubble rocks so that I could jump from there.
I will happily oblige.
So
Do I need to roll for that?
No, I think that's just a dice for helping. So when you aid, you give an extra die. So Hootis, get an extra die on your roll as the stone gets kicked, and then you can describe what that looks like.
Let me just... Ooh. Wait, what stats do I...
Oh, for Flutter, it's rebellion plus wisdom.
Hold on, my net is being slow.
It's okay.
Rebellion plus wisdom. Oh, it's a 5. Okay.
Ooh.
Okay, so 6. Okay. Ooh. I have 3 hits. One of them is
that's
a
a
6.
full success. So you can definitely make that move. And what do you want as your other pick? A +2 dice on your next attack, or avoid any kind of response?
Avoid response.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you this one doesn't turn to engage you. You're just right on their heels. Their back's sort of still exposed to you. Ermin, let me check what you want to do, and then I actually think I want to resolve the two sort of combat actions outside.
Okay. Lawgivers are coming. That's bad. They're probably going to focus on Lilia. I don't want that to happen. I'm not wearing young Ermine mask anymore because I gave it away.
Sure.
But I just was the young me, and I feel like I have a certain degree of kinship with past me from back then, like just a taste of what it was like to be young and 16 and whatever. So I'm going to throw my voice and try and pitch my voice back to where it was as a boy. And I'm going to start calling out rhythmically, no more debt, no more strings. No more debt, no more strings. And I'm trying to encourage the rowdy teenagers who have stormed out of this place, who are watching all of this unfold, to carry it on as a protest and pull focus from for the lawgivers.
Word plus spirit for igniting that flame.
Okay. For flavor, I'm going to take a point from the pool. Because this is overtly supernatural. And I think there isn't really glassware, but like when the light, if you were to look at Ermine through glass, or in the reflection in a shop window, you would see young Ermine calling out.
Oh, nice.
So that is, I believe, 7 dice.
Yeah.
4 successes.
So I think that that they're running. They've gotten a taste. They've kicked back at the priests. They've rejected their pastries and cheesecake, and now they're out on the streets and they're hopped up on sugar, and they are running. And they hear the whistle of the cops, and they're shouting that out. And that whistle of that lawgiver stops, and you hear the whistle, but it's moving the other direction away now. Like, I'm out of here, as this crowd of angry angry sugar-fueled teens goes every which way. Lilia, please make God bleed. You have the back of this person. You fluttered up.
I am just calculating dice here because I think I have 5 total. Because I'm taking the last favor from the favor pool.
Okay.
Can I assist with that stomp to like kind of throw them off balance or something like
Perfect. Come
That's
out
great.
and kicking things in the way.
3 successes.
So that is a full success. So tell me how you take him down.
And I get my fun light effects too.
Oh, absolutely.
Don't I? I think the pastry cream, I'm like kind of imagining it as this like absurd wave. You said
Yeah.
like the airbender thing, like I think it's doing a thing. And it's gone kind of purple. And so it's like coming in the air around us. And the actual blow is simple because it's just but it's like, where do I actually hit him?
Yeah.
I think it's high, and I think it is the head. Can I just make the head spin?
Yeah, absolutely. You hit. It's already kind of loose. He's freaking out, and there is that spin. And you can tell it goes one rotation too much.
Mm-hmm. And it's got that there's like a horrible grinding sound that goes with
Yeah.
it.
And the whole body will twist with that one, and it will fall straight face down into the frosting and ash on the ground.
And given that my stick is really just a stick,
Mm-hmm.
and I feel like I can replace that easily and narratively, I think I'm going to break. The stick breaks.
Oh, absolutely.
And it kind of,
Splinters.
and when it does, the shattering is in that like not work.
Perfect. Goes down. Hoodus, you've got this guy. He sees his comrade go down. He's trying to run. What do you do?
I feel like when the camera pans to the slow-mo of the splinters, like it goes up and then you like see like the sun and it's like emerging like a shadow with like younger Lilia with like angry AF. I kind of want to hit. Yeah, no, let's just go for a knife. I was like, let's.
Okay.
I did it. Yeah. Yeah, for the throat.
Violence for plus rebellion. I think Basanta has thrown an extra die to both of you with the shoe kicking.
Okay, so that's a 5. Okay. Okay, 3.
So that is a full success. Tell me what it looks like when you take this guy down.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Please stop me if this is too much. But I was thinking that since I got to the jugular, like the blood splats to the mask, and it's like too much, and that's why I take it off.
Okay.
But it's like totally dipped though, as if it's like a blessing. Like it's like baptism kind of image. Yeah. And it's like, and then like, and when I'm like done smiling, that's when I take it off.
Okay. Kind of got that glint. The sun kind of catches on the blood as this guy he drops to the ground. And I think we will see the 4 of you gathering together and moving out of there, clearing out before the lawgivers can come. Does that seem fair? And that feels like the good note to end this scene and this session on. Let's go through, and since I didn't do this last time, let's go through the Devour the Souls That Are Rightfully Yours move. So at the end of session, gain 1 gathered Gahum. So everybody gets 1. And then we ask the following questions, and for every yes answer, you get another one. And what does that mean? These are experience points. So Gather Gaham is like XP right now. So you get 1 XP for the session. And then effectively, you're going to get another one for each yes answer on these. Those are spent. 2 points will get you 1 advance.
And Maria, did you take one earlier when you acted on my thing that I gave you 2 dice for? Because you should.
Yeah, you should have another one.
Ooh. Oh, okay. A +1 Gahum. Yeah, I haven't written it on my thing, but I do remember you saying it. Yeah. Okay.
So did you beat or kill someone or something? I think that's a yes for everybody.
Yeah. Yes.
Moral defeat in my case. I don't think I actually inflicted damage, but
Yeah, but I think it's still beating someone. I mean, you stopped their plans. I think you solved the situation, so I think that's another point. I think we can universally say that you helped one of your friends in the course of this. So that's one. Did anyone fail in some way that was big? I don't think we had a big fail tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Did one of my enemies gain upper hand on me? Yes, for Lilia.
The only the only one that I would say maybe I failed because of that first hit didn't go anywhere.
Oh yeah, actually, yeah. So I think that's 2 points there.
Okay.
And did you destroy an or part of an oppressive structure? Yes, another point for that. And a massive cat in front of the lens. So we will turn those in at the start of the next session. For every 2 points of Gathering Gaham you have, you'll get an advancement. And we'll go through what those are. If you've gotten a total of 5 advancements by the time we start next session, because you've already gotten 2 of them, if you get 3 on this, then you will go up a tier.
Mm-hmm. Wait, so for every yes, it's 1 Gathered Gahum?
Yep.
Okay.
So the base is for the set of this, we all got beat or kill, solve a situation, help a friend, destroy an oppressive structure.
Yes.
So we get a base of 5.
Yep.
I'm going to. I'd like to advocate for taking a point on did one of my enemies gain an upper hand on me, because causing a protest / riot in the neighborhood might turn back on me later.
I will give you that. That seems fair.
And I would like to ask whether my decision to befriend an NPC as opposed to making sure that my questions about the loose demon didn't
Oh yeah,
cause any...
I think that's a failure in its own way.
Okay.
It's not a fail in the mechanical sense, but it's definitely you went out to do one thing and you didn't do that.
I kind of want to, I know it's also not a failure, but I think after what I just did with Lilia's like young face thing, that, I mean, we started off bad and now it's like, I did that right beside her. So I'm like, is that a thing?
Yeah, that was like us really intending to do a thing and then do the opposite of the thing that we had intended to do.
I think that's fair.
I think Huda should get a Gathered Gahum for baptizing young Lilia's face in blood. That seems to be eating adjacent.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
I'll give you that.
Wait, we get points for eating?
You get points for eating part of someone or something. That is the sort of ritual invocations of things. So we'll check in on those things and start next session. Do you mind doing a quick stars and wishes, just as a kind of decompress for tonight? I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording.